Good morning. So, guys, we have a special guest today, Rohan. Evan, welcome. He connected with me on LinkedIn a few days back. I just went through his profile and I saw he was doing something to remind us called Remind Snacks. And I want to understand what Remind Snacks is all about. I still don't know much about it, but I thought it would be interesting to talk to a founder who's doing something different. Rohan, for people who don't know you, who are you?
Thank you, Vinod, for having me here and also connecting on LinkedIn. Otherwise, very big thanks to LinkedIn. Otherwise, this kind of connections really don't happen. So, Rohan Ivan, founder of Remind Snacks. Primarily, I was born into a family where my father was a chef, a professional chef. So, I was born into food. The day one was food, and all throughout my childhood, all my time I used to spend in and around food at home at my dad's institute, which was Institute of Hotel Management, which is IHM. uh, and then once I completed my 12th, I had this instinct for science and maths in me, so I didn't go that path, but I decided to do food technology and business in NIFTM, in National Institute of Food Technology in Delhi. So another 4 years, I studied about another area of food, which is science, technology, engineering, microbiology. And then I realized that, okay, this is what I want to do. I had close connection with whatever I was doing. So then I went into the food industry. My first job was in Nestle. So I was making Maggi noodle and ketchup in their Goa plant. And then after I finished my stint there, I understood that, okay, MNC is not my thing. And then I came out of Nestle and then I started working with small companies to figure out how the back end of food works.
Mm-hmm.
So the entire thing from the raw material sourcing to how the finished product comes out of the factory, that was the area that I was primarily interested in. And then I went from small companies to slightly larger companies, figuring out that for around 2 to 3 years in multiple companies. So I traveled throughout India to do that. And then I came back to Cochin, my hometown, to start a consulting company. I mean, it's not that I knew much about food then, but then what we did was we took up the back end responsibility of other companies to take a concept from the client's mind all the way to the market. So the entire journey from the idea to the lab and getting a technology product out of a laboratory and then taking it to a factory, commercializing it, and then handing it over to the client, saying that now you take care of it. It's
Ah,
now your job to sell. So we used to take care of the back end of food, and
okay.
I had a
Interesting.
team of 7 people. And then we ran that consulting firm. It was called Food Business Transformation Services (FBTS). Primarily, all clients abroad. We rarely serviced any client in India. And that time, we learned a lot about back end of food, products, ingredients, technology, and primarily had a lot of understanding into the Western market, which was US, Canada, and also UAE, and of course UK also. So these are all our client base. And then when we were doing that, that was like my 24th year in food. That when I was doing that, it was all food, food, food. And when I was doing that, I realized, okay, now I got serious about success. That is
Mm.
the time when you think about life and success and all of that. Things were going well, consulting was paying well, but then things were not here. It was just here. So I had to take it here. And then I realized that to go from here to here in life, you really need to be at top of your health. And that was what was really bugging me because I would start my day early at 5 and I had to really push through till 10 p.m. at night to make best of my day. And then I realized that midway I'm losing my energy. I'm not able to be productive in the rest half of the day. And then when I have to travel, I have multiple stressors coming in. Then my body just gives in. So then I realized, no, this is not going to work. And then I have to really figure out how to crack health. And then it started with food, right? Because it was all about what we ate. So it was around, uh, so right now I'm 29. So I'm talking about 5 years before, like 24, 25. So I've tried to figure out how to eat healthy.
Mm.
That was the first question because in spite of having spent 24, 25 years in food, I still didn't know
Mm.
how
Mm.
to eat healthy. And then I tried asking all these questions to myself and to other people. The more and more I got confused because there was no single answer to what is healthy eating. Everybody had their own definitions.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I did spend around 2 to 3 years doing that. What other people told me, that do this, do that, what influencers told me, what the YouTube
When
told
was
me.
this? This was a few years back. You said you're
This was
29
around
now.
5 years back.
5 years
Yeah,
back.
this was
Okay.
around five
Okay.
years back. Yeah,
Okay.
when I was 24. This was in between consulting. Like it was just in
Right.
between our consulting business. And at that time, interestingly, my partner right now, my co-founder Vani Ahuja, she was also in the same mess. So we were partners back in FBTS as well in our consulting, and right now also we are co-founders. So she was in the same mess. And um, funny part is that I was a skinny guy then. I would just be blown away by wind. Actually, that skinny I was.
You want
And
to
on
come to
the
my balcony?
but now I wouldn't.
Yeah, I
Now
can
I
see that.
can save myself. And on the other side, Vani was fat. She was overweight. And then we were trying to do something to come in the opposite direction. Both of us had the same mess. Like we were just not able to figure it out. And then we tried all the different things that came to us. And then we struggled to get any result. We struggled to keep up with the advices that we received. And it just didn't make sense to our rational minds that this is just not working. And then, of course, I mean, we just didn't get any good advice, to be honest. And then what we realized is that we need to do this ourselves. We realized that this is not going to work. We need to get to the root of it. So, Vani and I, what we did is we actually enrolled into a nutrition
Mm-hmm.
coaching with a nutritionist. So, we found a nutritionist and then we said, okay, let's learn how to do this. And we spent 6 months initially and then another 3 months, a total of 9 months, going through our own diet. Like, what are we doing? Why is this thing healthy and core of ingredients and all of that. And then at the end, through that process, we realized what the nutritionist was trying to tell us. Even though she couldn't really put it out in simple words to us, we cracked it. We cracked the framework. And then we finally got to understand that healthy eating is all about balanced nutrition and portion sizes. And there's nothing more than that. All the jargons that we hear around, I mean, the highs and lows of different things like no sugar, no maida, no palm oil, and then all the no's and preservatives and undue importance given to all of these things, and the highs of proteins and this and that. Actually, none of this really gives you what you really need in a long term perspective. And
Okay.
all that mattered was balance of your nutrition and the portion sizes that you were consuming. And it took me 25 years to get to that point in spite of being born into food. Right? So Mani and I realized that this is a very strong message because once we started implementing that in our life, things really changed. There were no more sacrifices.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
was just going to
So,
ask you,
yeah,
what kind of, so this was when you were 24, 25, you enrolled with the
yeah,
nutritionist, and like, can you
yeah.
just talk us through what changed for you and Vani after, let's say, understanding the
Hmm.
fundamentals of how to eat according to yourself?
Right. So when you break down food, like very simple breakdown of food, nutrition is around carbohydrates, fat, and protein. Right. And in carbohydrates, there's a very important element called fiber also. Just making sure that all these four things are there on your plate almost all parts of the day in the proportion that your body requires at whatever age and type of life that you have, and for the portion sizes that your body requires. These two things is the only thing that needs to be understood. For that, you need
Mm.
to have a basic idea of what ingredients are and what is the basic the breakdown of ingredients itself, but very basic. It's not very hi-fi stuff. And then the impact is that you really do not need to change much. Whatever you used to have from childhood, you can continue to have all of them. You don't really need to give up a lot of these things. You just need to change the way it is being eaten. The portion sizes matter, how much you eat matters. Sometimes some things have to go less, some things have to go more. That's part of healthy eating. Then your plate, the proportion of these things on your plate matter. Like
Okay.
let's say for example, let's say I'm having idli sambar for, let's say I'm having idli for breakfast.
Mm.
How I used to eat earlier was three idlis, three spoons of chutney, one small katori of sambar, and hardly any vegetable. This is how I used to be enjoying my idli breakfast. But after I understood how to eat healthy, right, my three idlis would go to two idlis, my three spoons of chutney would go to one spoon of chutney, my small katori of sambar would go to a big bowl of sambar,
Mm,
and the whole big bowl of sambar will have a lot of vegetables in it.
got it. So you have
Nothing
the
changed.
fiber and little bit of protein, everything going in,
Yeah,
little bit of carbs from
yeah.
idli. Got it. Hmm.
Right. And then when I started doing my workout and all, of course, when you're physically active, you have more requirement of protein. So all that I did was I added two eggs to my breakfast. I
Got it.
still enjoyed my idli sambar. I really enjoyed it. Nothing wrong with it. Amazing breakfast as long as it's balanced. And then if there's a protein deficiency in it, okay, add two eggs. That's it.
Perfect. So
Right?
if
Yeah.
am I right in summarizing this way that you both had I mean, you had a good career going on with consulting, and then you found a loss of energy through the day, and you figured food is very essential, and eating it in a reasonably good, healthy way, whatever the definition is, the
Yeah.
balanced form,
Yeah.
is fundamental to a good existence, or let's say energetic or
That's
enthusiastic existence. You found that to be a big
absolutely.
differentiator. And then what? Like what problem are you trying to solve with Remind Snacks?
Yeah. So the same problem that we had, right? Figuring out what is healthy eating, like how to think
Mm.
about it and how to execute it, like do it on a daily basis. First issue was how to think about it. So if like we started our experiment by asking 100 people what is healthy eating. We got 50 different answers.
Okay.
The problem was very clear. Nobody knew what healthy eating was. So one thing that we had to solve for is that we had to create a very simple thought process or a framework in which people can think about healthy eating without the stress. And
Mm-hmm.
the perfection ideology that has been put to eating right is the biggest issue. Nowadays, the community believes that yeses and nos are the way to eat healthy. Saying yes to many things and no to a lot of things, and being high of many things and low of a lot of things. Like for example, low calorie. Consumers don't understand that calorie is fundamental of our existence, and they villainize calorie, right? So this is the first problem. Like healthy eating narrative around that across all these different things that matter the least, and when there is no conversation about balanced and portion sizes, which actually matters the most and which is very easy to sustain, very enjoyable, very less sacrifices to make, a lot of mindfulness and sustainable. The entire
Got
idea
it.
about this is joy, right? About joy. Joy in food is very important for your happiness, for very living every day fully to your best. So this is the first thing. The problem is about how to think about healthy eating, right? Now, coming to how to do it. So thinking
Mm.
is one part. You can give a lot of gyan about all of this, but then finally how you do it. So balanced diet as such is a little difficult because you need to arrange for a lot of things. You need to put some mind into it. Okay, if you're going shopping, you need to arrange for a lot of raw material, like let's say ingredients. You need to buy different kind of vegetables, different kind of this and that. So it's not very easy to do that. Now, Remind Snacks, what are we doing? We are trying to make this thing first easy to think, simple to think, and easy to do, which is easy to eat. So the first thing that we are coming up with a product that is nutritionally balanced and portion controlled in the product itself,
Mm-hmm.
which means through the brand Remind Snacks, what we are trying to do is that idea of healthy eating, that healthy eating is not perfect. It is largely about balanced diet and portion sizes and all. That's all that you need to take care. This message is the primary fundamental of Remind Snack, which we need to take to the consumer. And then there is no need to stress about something to enjoy.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay. So
The second thing, yeah, please.
go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is about the thinking part. Now the doing part, the product itself is nutritionally balanced, and we are serving it in a mindfully portion size, which is only 40 grams. So all around the world where Remind Snacks is available, it'll only be available in a 40-gram pack. and which is a very strong message to the people out there that portion sizes matter, whatever you
I
eat.
I specifically had
Yeah,
that question. I went through the three products that you have, the creamy onion and the
yeah,
other one, and I saw 40 grams. I saw the ingredients, and I also see the
yeah.
message that you've given that there's no great definition of a healthy snack. Just be a
That's
little
correct.
balanced. That's good enough.
That's
I
correct.
think whatever you're telling us is what you've mentioned in the box. So you seem to be a great
That's
proponent and believer in that. I want to ask
absolutely.
you a little more about the product now. You have tell us about the products and why is it 40? Why not 45, 50, 30? What goes into it? Why do you think that is this is a nutritionally balanced food for people? Why should I have it?
Right. So there are a couple of questions that you asked. Now let's first talk about the nutritional balance. So how do we understand balance? Balance basically is what source does the calorie come from? Like let's say throughout the day we need 2000 calories. Like I'm on a 2500 calorie diet. Okay. And Vani is on a 1400 calorie diet because she's trying to cut fat. I'm
Mm.
trying to gain muscle. The different things. No, normally normally most of us would be on a 2000 calorie diet, which is like the standard for guidelines. Okay. Now, what does balance mean? Where does these calories come from? This is what balance mean. So typically, what the guidelines say is that around 55 to 60% of the calories need to come from your carbohydrates,
Okay.
which is a very big number. Right now, what matters is which kind of carbohydrate. So, what we need to go for is the complex carbohydrate
Mm,
largely,
mm,
just coming
mm.
from your root tubers and your whole wheat and all of that, right? Now, the next is that around 15 to 20% calories should come from your protein,
Okay.
right? That is the second element of balance. And around 30% of your calories need to come from fat, right? And the more amount of healthy fats that you take, which is primarily from your nuts, seeds, avocados, olive oil, even rice bran oil, like a lot of these things have good fats in it, which is monounsaturated fats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
So 30% needs to come from that. This is primarily balanced. Okay. So this is the idea. So throughout the day, if you're able to achieve this and eat in and around this, you're
Mm.
sorted.
Okay.
This is what your body requires. So our product is built on this fundamental.
Mm-hmm.
The protein, carb, fat ratios in the product and the calories that it gives to the total calorie that a product has. This is 170 calories. That is the fundamental behind the balance. Now coming to the portion size, uh, let's say a normal individual like you and I, we need 2000 calories a day. A snack primarily should contribute not more than 10% of that day's requirement because
Yeah.
you have three main meals. You have three main meals, you might snack twice. So altogether, it's like 2000 calories. So let's say 500 calories per meal, right? Breakfast, lunch, dinner, 1500 calories. Then your two snacks, 250 calories each. Let's put a very broad calculation.
Yeah.
Our snack is at 170 calories, which is below your 2000. Why am I mixing that up? Below
250
your 250, yeah, below your 250 calorie upper limit for a snack,
snack.
right? So this is the idea behind putting it together to a
Mm.
170 calorie or a 170, 180 calorie snack, because anyway it is below.
Okay.
And that is something that you need at that snack time. That's all that you
Oh.
need. You don't need a 500 calorie snack.
It's very interesting, right? I was actually about to come to that without knowing much about this because a lot of snacks that I see, it's typically 80 grams or 100 grams, the ones that you buy. And generally, I've seen these snacky processed foods in general, right? They have a into 4 into 5 grams to calorie ratio, if you see,
Yeah, yeah,
right? That's like yours is 40 into 4, 160, 170. And typically, you'll find that 4 to 5 ratio.
that's correct.
And I think probably do you think that's where people were going wrong and you thought, okay, you're
Hmm.
consuming more than what you should be in terms of snack? Is that why you designed it to be 170 and so that 40 grams?
Hmm. So there are two things to it. One is the practical application of it, and then one is the legal requirement. So
Okay.
all companies need to comply with the legal regulations. So legal regulation says that you have to be very clear about the serving size
Okay.
of the product that you're giving. In our brand, what we have taken very carefully, very clearly is that we will only pack one serve in one cup or one pack, which is not the case with other brands. They would say two servings per pack, 2.5 servings
Yeah.
per pack, actually to comply with the RDA regulation. So I'll give you an example. Let's say Coke, a 300 can Coke. So a 300 ml
ml.
Coke, if we buy,
Hmm.
any normal consumer would finish it, right, in one go. And that consumer would think it is one serving. But if you look at the back of the pack, you will understand that is a 1.5 serving, or it may be two servings at some point. Actually, what the brand is suggesting the consumer is only to half of the can.
Ah,
But then nobody does that. A full Pringle pack, right? A Pringle pack which costs around 180, 200 rupees. That Pringle pack has around 4 or 5 servings in one can.
okay.
So it's for 4 people to eat. But normally, what a kid ends up doing is that the kid eats the whole 5 portions or the 5 servings in one go, which is
Got
what
it.
primarily a business also would want. But then legally, they have to comply with the regulation.
Rohan,
That's point one.
I have a basic
Yeah.
question. Sorry to interrupt. So, can you explain
Yeah.
what a serving means then for someone very dumb like me who doesn't know anything about what serving means in the legal requirement?
Yeah. So, okay. Now, let's come back to the calories. Okay. The basics of calories. You need 2000 calorie, which is energy, units of energy. See, I'm trying to understand calories, explain calories a bit more in detail. Calorie is basically what your body needs energy, like a car needs petrol, right? Just like that, our body needs energy. That energy is coming from food. When you eat food, our body converts that into energy, and that energy is measured in calories. Simple as that. So, calorie is not a bad thing. It is just something that we need. Now, excess of calorie is what creates problem, and also the source from which the calorie comes. Like for example, sugar also gives you calories, very high number of calories. So this is the basics of it. Now, where serving size comes into picture. Whenever you have some food, there is a RDA guideline, which is a recommended daily allowance by the nutrition guidelines of any country. Brands to be able to comply with that and to give the customer an idea that we are compliant, they work around serving sizes. So when a brand packs multiple serving sizes inside one cup, inside one packet,
Hmm.
they can communicate to the consumer that with the idea of serving sizes that it is still compliant with your regulations and your recommended daily allowance if you have only the serving size that we are recommending,
Okay.
right? So the nutrition guidelines of, let's say, in India it's NIN, National Institute of Nutrition. So they have these guidelines, which is RDA, and companies actually tell the customer that serving size is what you need to take care to be eating healthy or to be
Okay.
reasonably eating healthy. But then that
Ah,
information is so skewed up that nobody will figure it out because
okay.
brands basically try to play around within that only. Nobody is going to go and see how many servings is one pack, and then I need to eat only half of
Correct.
that, and then I need to keep the rest
No,
for some.
I
So
didn't know
that's where the
this till
things go wrong.
I actually didn't know this till you explained what is the serving size and one and a half. So
Yeah.
if I to just keep it very simple, if I see some product with let's say 3 servings, it basically says
Mhm.
you should have one third of it at one sitting. Is that right? That's
That's
it.
correct. And if you do that, you will be reasonably eating well. That's
Okay.
what the idea is.
And it also says don't eat too much of me. That's what it clearly says,
Yeah, that is
right?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
Not
So,
necessarily,
hmm,
not necessarily. Like sometimes brands can pack for a family. Like for
okay,
example, Maggie packs 4 cakes in one big family pack. So
right.
that time it is quite clear that one is for me because it's all separated, right?
Hmm,
There is single pack also, there is family pack also. So nobody is going to
okay,
open a pack of 4 and then eat all 4 at once because it's very clear it's a family pack. So that way the messaging of Maggie in that aspect is very good for the
clear.
consumer. Yeah.
So
But
let me
then if you
ask
eat
you
the whole
this.
thing,
Hmm.
yes.
Let me ask you this. Let's say we have a Kit Kat, right? A
Okay.
large one. How many servings is it?
There will definitely be multiple. What I can tell you is that the let's say 5 rupee Kit Kat, I think doesn't exist
Yeah,
now. The 10 or 20 rupee Kit Kat should be closer to the one serving, is what I
hmm.
think. I think one finger would be one
One
serving
finger. Okay.
at one time. Yeah. Something like that. Or maybe max two. Not more than that.
I think this is very interesting, Rohan. I think a fair bit of new information that I got, and I'm sure the audience would
Yes,
also appreciate. And I think people are used to seeing the ingredients and the
that's
the
correct.
macros in the in most of the products now. I think there's more
Yeah,
awareness in India. I think the
yeah,
servings is something I think they'll start looking at, and I think since you're doing one serving, I think people don't you don't want them to overthink, and I think very
yeah,
smart
that's correct.
thinking, Ron. Okay, so we're
Yeah,
I had a few more questions
that's
before we wrap up. I want you
yes.
to talk to us about where you're selling the products and what formats, and also which countries, and also some of the challenges faced in the Indian market specifically.
Okay, so the idea for us is to first sell and get into the market and do a good job in India. The first 2, 3 years we are planning to be in India. Mainly the tier one cities is where our type of customers are who looking to for aspirational for healthy eating, right? Then our major target market is in the US
Mm-hmm.
because US the snacking culture is huge. It's not like India. Okay,
Okay.
they snack like 5 times a day. They snack. Sometimes they snack. Most of the time, they snack instead of a meal. So our
Mm.
product is like a classic
Well suited.
solution for that. Yeah, it's for that because if you want, like for example, let's say you are on a calorie deficit diet, like you want to have lesser calories per day, and you are in a habit of let's say skipping dinner or you don't want to have dinner. For dinner, you can have a product
Ah,
because instead of having a 500 calorie, you can have a 170 calorie and then you're good because you have eaten well rest of the day and you want to keep your calories down.
got it.
So that kind of application is there. In the US, it's going to be big. So in India, that's the idea. We're starting with Bangalore as our first city. So what we will do is initial first 1 year at least we'll be focusing fully on Bangalore, and we believe that our customers are in the offices and wherever work is happening. So not remind snack is not a weekend snack. It's a Monday to Friday snack. And wherever work is happening, wherever work travel is happening, and wherever meetings and conferences are happening is where Remind Snacks will be.
Got it.
So we'll be taking a B2B approach of getting a product placed in all the places where people are working and they can eat it in between their work time, in between their meals or even along with their meals. It's a very good product to club along with the meal. Let's say you're having a small meal, you can add this, adding a bit of nutrition and taste and crunch and joy to your whole meal, right? So that's the first idea. Then the expansion plan, of course, is in the US. A major market is also in the US. So that's like a good job to be done for 10 years. After that, we have to go global. So the whole idea of Remind Snacks is to build the next kind of Pringles, but a very meaningful one.
Interesting. That's wonderful. I think one thing I forgot to ask you is what exactly is this product? It's some sticks that I saw. Like to tell
Yeah.
audience what it is, like chips or what is it?
Yes. So till now we have spoken about the brand, right? The kind of work that we are trying to do. But then there is a very interesting patent technology product behind this brand, which is the first product that we're launching. So the technology that we have developed is basically steam cooking and gentle drying.
Okay.
Okay, so it's a new tech that we have developed. Being primarily food technologists, we have very key insights into how these things work, and we've been able to come up with something very new. So what we do is we take a combination of fruits, vegetables, and pulses. So whole fruits, vegetables, and
Ah,
pulses. Steam cook it, steam cook it, which is
right.
not there in the industry, and we make a paste out of it, like a
Okay.
chapati dough, and then we make finger-shaped products out of it, like a French fry,
Oh,
and then we gentle dry it to give you a texture like Doritos. You will just think it's a fried snack,
got it. Got it.
but it's balanced and it's portion controlled, so you can enjoy it, no stress, and there is no boredom to snacking. Like we didn't want to take out the joy from snacking, and there's a big element of salt in it. Like for example, we are
Yeah.
a savory snack, right? So salt apparently considered a villain, but then salt is something that our body needs.
Mm,
And we are supposed to consume salt, and we have a limit, like 5 grams of salt a day, if you're in a very, very ideal diet. So our pack, in spite of it being a salty, tasty snack, it still has only zero point 0.8 gram per pack. And it's put on the pack very clearly. So you have the full snack also. It's salty. You will understand it when you're eating. It's tasty, it's mouth savoring, still 0.8 grams. So again, the message is about portion size. You eat 40 grams, you're sorted. You eat two of that, we wouldn't recommend.
Yeah, yeah, because
You
you,
know?
I think it's a very nuanced way of sending a message to the people that, hey, I'm also concerned about what you eat, but not overly concerned. Stay within the limits, right? This is kind of reasonable. Enjoy a
Yeah.
snack. Don't get stressed over the nuances and
Yes.
get confused. I think
Yeah.
that's very interesting, Rohan. I think we are running short of time, Rohan. I think
Yeah.
it was
It was great.
really wonderful, eye-opening, informative session even for me
Thank
who's
you.
into a little bit of food, little bit, not as much as you, but I try to learn as much as possible. Very informative. I learned about what do you mean by healthy combination, healthy food not clearly defined, more about the serving size.
Yeah.
I think that was an eye opener. And I also, the
Yeah.
interesting part is how you make your snack, right? It's like completely general dried, and it's a paste, comes out like a
Yes.
singer. I
Yeah.
think
It
it's
looks like a
brilliant.
French fry.
That's brilliant. I look forward to seeing your product on the shelves in Bangalore soon.
Yep.
When is it
Yep. Yep.
coming?
We're working towards it. This year we will launch, almost
Okay.
there, just getting the things through.
I think you should keep us posted, and I think we'll do another session on how the launch went and what the initial feedback from the
Yeah.
crowd is. Yeah. All right, Ron.
Absolutely.
I'll,
Happy to
I'll,
be back.
brilliant. Thank you so much. You have a great day. We'll connect again.
You too. You too.
Thanks.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you.
Bye.
Bye.